All right, let's dive into something that's totally changing the game for how we work. I'm talking about the gig economy. It involves millions and millions of people. But here's the big question. Is it this amazing future of freedom? Or is it, well, a trap? Let's get into it.
And really, this is the question that cuts right to the chase, isn't it? When you take on a gig, are you being your own boss, carving your own path? Or are you giving up the safety net for good? I mean, this is a real dilemma people are facing every single day.
Okay, so before we can really tackle that big question, we have to be on the same page about what the gig economy actually is. Let's break down the core concept.
So what are we talking about here? In a nutshell, it's this big shift away from that classic 9-to-5, one-company career. Instead, work gets sliced up into smaller pieces, these individual tasks or gigs that people can just pick up whenever.
You know, this quote from Dr. Anya Sharma just hits the nail on the head. She says it offers unparalleled flexibility, which sounds amazing, right? But, and this is a huge but, it often comes at the cost of stability and traditional worker protections. And that right there, that's the fundamental push and pull we're going to be looking at.
Here's a cool way to picture it. Think about a Hollywood actor. They jump from one project, one gig, to the next. They have a ton of freedom to pick their roles, but there's no long-term studio contract, right? No paid vacation, no health insurance from the studio. You're your own boss, sure, but you're also completely on your own for a safety net. That's a gig worker today, but for, well, pretty much any job you can imagine.
Okay, so we've got the definition down, but let's get to the important part. Why should you care? What's the real immediate impact of all this? Let's look at why this matters so much.
Just look at this number, 36%. Now that sink in. We're talking about 59 million people in the US alone who did freelance work just last year. This isn't some tiny niche thing happening on the side. No way. This is a massive, fundamental part of our economy now.
And yeah, its impact goes way beyond just driving for an app. We're talking about a trend that makes us question everything. What even is a job anymore? How are people supposed to find any kind of financial stability? And are the old laws we have even remotely ready to deal with this completely new way of working? It's a huge deal.
All right, now let's dig a little deeper and look at the actual data. Because the numbers, they tell a really fascinating story about who's doing this work and, what life is actually like for them.
And boom, here's that instability we were talking about, clear as day. Look at the difference in average monthly income. You've got your traditional employee on one side and the gig worker on the other. Now sure, some high-skill freelancers can make a killing, but the average gap, it's pretty big. And that takes us right back to that central trade-off, freedom versus financial security.
So what kind of jobs are we actually talking about here? Well, it's easy to think it's all just delivery and rideshare.